Hello, welcome to Lemon Stews, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for the November 25th, 2024 episode of Monday Night Raw. But before we get into that, let's get the house cleaning out of the way, shall we? I'm going to leave a like. Comment below, let me know your thoughts on this week's episode of Raw, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into the review, shall we? So, this episode of Raw was the go-home show for Survivor Series. I gotta tell you, they did a really good job on really making, well, 4 of the 5 matches that are announced to actually be very intriguing and did very good with story. With the 5th being that got randomly announced was LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship, which I would assume was a match that they were going to do, right? Like, obviously that is a program that they are going to do. I have no faith that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to win. I think it's just going to be a lovely ride until LA Knight hits the blood force trauma. And overall, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, kind of, because, Shinsuke should be a force, right? He's so good, and he should be given more than just a guy like, okay, we need you to do a job real quick. Yeah, we'll give you a new character, and everything will make you look really cool. But yeah, that's the only match out of them. And I really thought the women's War Games match was just going to be like, I know it's going to be a lot of fun. And again, I still fully believe this, that the women's War Games match is going to be better than the men's. But they did such a well job on making me really invest within the story. They actually developed quite the story. Indeed. Now, unfortunately, Jade Cargill is legitimately hurt, and you never wish that on anyone, right? So she's out for at best 3 months, which is the Rumble, but she could be out for even longer and missing WrestleMania 41. So not that there is a good time to get hurt, but this is definitely one of the worser times to get hurt. So sending all the best wishes to Jade Cargill. Hope she's having a lovely Thanksgiving with her family and a Christmas as well. But with that, you take one person away, there is opportunity for others, and that is being given to Bayley. And I said this on my SmackDown review as well once it became apparent that Jade Cargill will not be there, is that Bayley does deliver some more story aspects within it, where Bianca's like, okay, Io's fine, because that's only one Damage Control member. I'm really glad they at least addressed the elephant in the room, because it was weird how, like with Bayley, it was just cut off, but then Io, she was like cool with. She was like, look, I'm fine to deal with 1. I'm not gonna deal with 2, so no to Kairi Sane. And then I was like, well, I think we should have Bayley. And they also did the nice little hint of the I never needed you at all in her lyrics. Now, Bianca does sometimes sing her song, but they made it very clear for her to sing those lyrics into the camera, and they do all these types of subtle things. So now I'm starting to shift from it maybe being Naomi, and it might actually be Bianca that attacked her. And we might get a heel turn Bianca Belair, which I'm really not sure how I fully feel about that. But yeah, Bayley being in there now, and especially with how the match prescribed ended, I was a little over it, right? Because there are a lot of these types of finishes, especially on this episode of Raw. There was 3? There was the Tornado Tag match, the Intercontinental match, and then this match that all had a distraction finish in one way, shape, or another. And they said, okay, none of the participants can join, and Bayley wasn't officially in yet. She comes in, she gets the distraction for Nia Jax, and Bianca is looking really confused, and she doesn't really know what to do, but she takes the pin anyway to get her advantage for her team and says, all right, Bayley, I guess you're in. And Bayley takes it, and again, Bayley has a beef with Io Sky. How is that going to translate? Bayley and Bianca, we all know their history. Bianca and Io, we all know their history. Hell, they even teased Rhea versus Bianca, and I'm just saying, inject it into my freaking veins, man. They are going to, whenever we do finally get that match, and if Jade can't go, I hope that is the Mania match. Oh man, it's gonna be great. I am really looking forward to it. It could main event WrestleMania, night 2 of WrestleMania. That's how much I have faith in those 2 women to deliver an absolutely fantastic main event match and a good build. As that, I do think they could main event overall of WrestleMania. They won't, but I'm just saying they could. So yeah, all of that stuff I am very much enjoying, and again, I am very shocked that WWE was like, okay, we kind of thrown this together, but we can make a nice little story here, and they did just that. We didn't get much of the men's bloodline match here. We got a little backstage segment where we're like, okay, Punk and Roman are going to sit down and talk. And then we have the advantage match between Jacob Fatu and Jey Uso. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a very fun match to watch. Then the IC title, where Ludwig and Braun Breaker. And Ludwig, he's had a hell of a 2024. I think he's someone that we can really start to develop a lot more in 2025, and we could probably expand on. And he probably should win the IC title at some point, because him and Breaker had a great match. And let's all talk about the spot, right? Where they're out on the outside, and Braun's going to do his run and hit the spear. This man ran at full speed, and he just launched himself into the table. And not even to the table, into the corner of the table. I don't know how you fake that. Like, I don't know how, the producer goes up to go, all right, Braun, I want you to run full speed into the corner of the table. And do your best to protect yourself. Like, oh my God. And then he went out and worked another 5 minutes. And then, of course, this was the other distraction finish. But this one made much more sense, right? Because the following week, Ludwig cost Sheamus the IC title. This week, Sheamus was like, you know what? I'm just going to cost you the match and cause the DQ, an eye for an eye, because I'm petty as hell. And then all three of them get in a huge brawl, and then we get the announcement of the triple threat, which could possibly steal the show. It could possibly be better than both of the War Games matches. Really looking forward to that match over there. And then there's the World Heavyweight Championship. Another promo segment. Again, really liking what we're doing with Gunther. This new character change and all that. I wonder if it's going to be for just this build, because they really made it clear this time that Damian Priest is going to lose this Saturday, because we gave him all the momentum. He literally had all of the build, which it could be, it could go two different ways, right? It just really depends on how he finished this thing. Is that, he's been talking smack to Gunther. He's done all of the promos. Gunther has barely spoke at all since losing to Cody Rhodes. And I would assume once Gunther beats Damian, he will go back to being the super cocky mofo that we come to know and love him. And I know some people have been saying Gunther's World Heavyweight title reign is not as good as his Intercontinental title reign. I highly disagree. I think this this World Heavyweight title reign has surpassed his Intercontinental title reign, because we got to see him talk more. And we got to see his personality, and there's a much more attachment to Gunther now, I believe anyway, than when he was IC champion and he was just, the wrestler. Now he is an actual character, and this is some necessary character development. That, man, I lost. I did all that smack talking, and I lost. So until I win, I am not going to be talking smack, because I got to earn it. And that Damian Priest has had his number all the way through. And then he puts him through the table, he grabs the title, he raises it up, and that's usually an indication of, I am losing this Saturday, but they're making me look strong. And it's just after that, when Damian Priest loses, it's going to be all about character, how the audience reacts. Because on one hand, it's like, okay, yeah, no, he was badass all the way through, and he just didn't get him, and we know how Gunther is. Gunther bounced back, bada bing, bada boom. But the other side of the coin is that the audience can go, this dude talked all this noise and he just went out and lost. Okay, well, then there goes all of Damian's momentum, which I really hope doesn't happen, because again, to me, he is one of the contenders for wrestler, most improved wrestler of the year in my book. But yeah, I've enjoyed the build overall so far. Either way, I am still going to cheer for Damian. But yeah, that is the only thing that is kind of shaky to me. And I'm going to finish off this episode of Raw with, just praising the New Day and also Karrion Kross and The Miz. It's really a testament to your brand, to your product, and to your roster that you can take off Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. The Bloodline barely had any segments whatsoever. You can take off Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Seth Rollins wasn't in this episode whatsoever. All your real big names, your real big money makers, one of the main reasons why people buy a ticket. And yet, you get your biggest reaction within the middle of the card. Again, that IC title match. I know it wasn't for the title, but, the Intercontinental Champion was in it. Got some big reactions, and the crowd was really into it. Miz in the Final Testament got some laughs. Now, I think people anticipate to see Karrion Kross, which is what we always wanted when he came back in 2022. I like that segment between them when he goes, okay, Miz is going, look, I saw the Wyatts, and Karrion's like, but did they see you? No, all right, let's go. And Miz is like, I'll stay back too with Scarlett. And he goes, no. It's very funny. It's very funny. And then Scarlett is doing her make up in the mirror, and then we see Nikki Cross, and Nikki Cross tears her up. I'll see that match. I'll do Scarlett versus Nikki. And then, of course, the New Day. And I've been saying it on here, I haven't been shy about it, is that I have enjoyed every single thing that the New Day has been doing. And I know this has all been a build-up to that 10-year anniversary, which is finally going to cap off this next Monday. And I've been saying, like, look, it just really didn't feel like a lot of the same old, and I'm just ready for that next step. Here was that next step. I mean, every single line, every single bar after they lost to the Alpha Academy, which great senton by Akira Tozawa, by the way. And they do end up talking all the way back. I'm like, okay, here it is again. But then the camera keeps following, and they get in the backstage, and they get into this little corner area, and they just lash out on each other. And it's now to the point where it's like, yeah, look, no matter what, y'all got to scrap now. You know, y'all both crossed the line. Y'all both said some things that are very hurtful. You know, Kofi saying, look, we never gave you the ball because you're too reckless. This is why you can never lead, man, and this is why we're in the slump that we're in. Yeah, that's crossing a little bit of a line. Xavier going, well, you know, the reason you got confidence to begin was because I forced you into the New Day. And then, you know, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be WWE champion. And what did you do with that? You lost in 6 seconds to Brock Lesnar. Okay, Xavier, you crossed the line too. So, you know, let's bring Big E in, have him be special guest referee, so that he makes sure the fight doesn't get too out of hand where y'all can't come back from it. Y'all scrap up. Let's get the 1, 2, 3, and then let's move on, and then all three of us can be together. Because I do think Big E is going to show up in one way or another. They brought him up way too many times for him to not be a part of the story in any way, shape, or form. I would be very curious to see as to why they left him off. And if they did, it was probably because Big E optioned not to, because, like, hey, these two are cooking on their own. But I really do think him being a part of it really adds another layer to it, and to be that peacemaker. Unless they are just going to break him up. If they are just going to break him up, then you can't have him there unless he can take somewhat of a bump if he's not cleared yet. And you do break him up, and you do have this actual feud. And again, it was just a great segment overall, and they absolutely cooked with it, and they have done a great job. I mean, look, you're not together for 10 years, and you're consistently on TV for 10 years. Just by, you know, just for shits and gigs, right? You do it because you're really good at your fucking job. And they really were. I say my one F-bomb for that. And they absolutely smashed it out of the park here. And now I'm eating my words because, again, I was like, I'm kind of starting to get over the New Day stuff. Now, can't wait for this 10-year anniversary. I am definitely tuning in, not because of a CM Punk, of a Seth Rollins, of possible Gunther or Damian, or any of the major players that I've come to know and love. I will be happy to see them as well. They are going to be on the show in some way, shape, or form. But I am tuning into next week's episode of Raw solely because of the New Day. And, you know, yeah, they are a mainstay, but, you know, they've never been, you know, the reason to tune in. They were just one of the side characters that you're happy to see. Now, they're the reason to tune in, and that's a testament to their work. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about this episode of Raw down in the comment section. Leave a like if you made it this far in the video. I do greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button as we have a ton of content heading your way very soon. We do have Survivor Series this Saturday, so be on the lookout for that review. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Limit Studios.